Hi, this is Praios, and welcome to another study stream. Let's jump into it. This is the first hand we are looking at. This should be very quickly. This definitely is an open. I wonder if I should call against the 3-bet. By the way, this is a bit screwed. I now took UTG instead of MP. But let's see. So we should call always, and the single suited version should also, although wait, this is close, so you can call, you can fold. Solver wasn't sure yet. What changes if you raise from middle position instead? I guess not too much. I mean, the ranges, middle position and early position are pretty similar, but now it might be a close call where it was a close fold in the other spot. Yeah, now it's a call, and from UTG it's very close, but it seemed to be more in the direction of a fold. Maybe we can handle this as an UTG open because the pot is already bigger, and yeah, I isolated this guy, although not sure if I am tighter or less tight. I guess I'm less tight, so yeah, he could 3-bet a bit lighter, so taking it as a MP open is more reasonable actually. Next hand. Oh, that's an interesting one too. So what is this? Yeah, this is I do this with Poker Trainer instead of PLO Vision because yeah, they have the more detailed positions. King, Queen 6. King, Queen 6 not available. King, Queen 4. King, Queen 4. Okay. Where is it? Sorry for taking so long. Yeah, let's first see how he is supposed to play his range. He should bet 50% most of the time, but he wasn't. He bet very large. Queen 9, 10, Jack. No backdoors. So looks like Queen 9, 10, Jack. This is a bit annoying because all these hands do completely different things. Let's look into our specific holding. So we got diamonds, no diamonds on board. 10 club, queen hearts. So this one should call and print. What about when he Oh, sick. Now I have to find the board again first. So what about half pot size bet? Against a half pot size bet, we want to re-raise a lot more. Call less makes sense. Yeah. Not sure if I played this one correctly. Let's now. How do we do this? Yeah, we just have UTG versus BB, unfortunately. Although is this the case? I think so. So let's look into the turn play. King, queen. Okay, king, queen 4. It's fine. So I think this is a major difference. Although, yeah, we have different positions, but again, the main size used is 50%, but he used pot. 9, queen, jack, king. 9, queen. So this is correct now. So if we have only the weakest ones should call sometimes. So mine is in the very weak category, although yeah, so calling is correct. I think this was like an 8 or something. Five, whatever. Let's make it this. And now, yeah, I guess we just have too many outs. What? We fold on the turn? Sick. So it's less than pot. We still want to fold on the turn. That is unexpected. I mean, our rep has like 10, jack, 9, how many outs are these? 13, I guess, if all are clean. Yeah, I mean, this actually could be correct, because when people shove turn with like ace, ace 10, ace, ace, jack, a lot of our outs are blocked, and some cards that give us a straight give him a better straight, and that's why we probably can actually fold on this type of board on the turn if we just call flop. Yeah, I mean, there could be hands if we crush very hard, like 10 jack ace, and that's like the only one. But if he has top pair or a queen and also a rep, he often has a better kicker, and then we are crushed. Let's look into this. This is very interesting. Let's do an old-fashioned, old-school equity analysis. our hand is, I mean, it doesn't matter. Let's just take 9, queen, 10, jack. Just make it rainbow. And what is his range? His range probably is what is his 3-bet? I think he's not that active, so let's make this 8%. He can have kings, he can have queens, he can have king, queen, he can have a lot of other stuff too. To make sure that we don't forget anything, let's select all these, although this one is probably not correct. Let's restart. Which 2 pairs can he have? Deuce 4 is, this is, he's not potting with any queen, king deuce, not really, but the flop. King, queen, king 4, queen 4, although queen 4, not sure about that. Let's add it in. Now let's go to the straights. This with this, this. Okay. Oh man, this will be painful. Let's just run the analysis. Okay. We are not doing well, as you can see, and yeah, this also includes like very weak hands like 3-5, where we definitely have to add more stuff in. So yeah, that's a turn fold. I mean, we would have made to some adjustments, but even if we click equilate now, we would have a close call bar. This hands, some need to be removed, some need to be made stronger. So yeah, that's a fold. Easy. The solver is right. It should be right most of the time. What's this? This is painful. Let's do this with a poker trainer again. Fold, oops, back, fold, raise, call. Oh, that's messed up somehow. Oh, that's completely wrong what I'm doing here. Fold, call, that's correct now. 10-8-8 is our board. 10-8-8. Nice one. We got it. Check. I guess we are not checking with our hand, right? Ace, ace, 6-7. Looks like the version with the hearts want to bet a lot, or with heart blockers also bet, and the other versions without heart blocker or without a flush draw don't bet that much. In our case, this is spades, so the bet was correct. He's choosing a smaller sizing, but yeah, whatever. And if we get raised, the raise also is a bigger sizing than the one here, but yeah, I guess now we call. Yeah, calling 100%. Yep. PLO trainer has no turn sims, so let's make this. Let's analyze this one for some turns too. But now, what will it be? Button versus big blind is the closest, I guess. What is single suited paired 10-8-8? Opponent should check the majority of it of the time, which he did. Interesting. Mr. J. Nendes to find other betting ranges than other bet sizes than PLO trainer, not PLO trainer, PLO vision. I see you use both vision and PLO trainer. Any preferences, or do you suggest using them both? Will you ever run Monka Sims? I ran some Monka Sims, but yeah, my computer is scrappy. It doesn't have enough RAM, and it's hard to run good Sims. And yeah, so that's why I have to use third-party tools. To be honest, none of these programs is perfect. I have PLO trainer because it was included in the mastermind. It will soon be not included anymore, so I have to use it until it's expiring. And yeah, it's also annoying that now it should be $450 per month. It's like way too expensive for the product. PLO trainer is good for pre-flop. It also has flop sims, at least for single raised and 3-bet pots, but yeah, unfortunately almost no turn sims, only for a few boards, and the flop has to go check check, so that is basically not usable at all. So if you want to have any turn sims, you have to buy vision as well, and that's why I bought vision. Yeah, so that's my reasoning for having both. And yeah, vision misses some positions. So you see, these are the only positions you can analyze with vision. In PLO trainer you have all positions, but unfortunately only flop sims and no sims for later. And it seems also that for PLO trainer the sims didn't run long enough more often, and yeah, that is, you cannot really trust some of the results. Yeah, so after great, are they adding more? I guess they do, but not sure. To PLO trainer there should sims be added all the time, but yeah, I didn't saw many yet. And yeah, vision also has 50 BB and 100 BB and turns, so that's a bit better. I also don't understand why they don't have river sims. These should get solved the fastest, but if you want to look into rivers, you have to solve it yourself. That's also annoying in vision, and PLO trainer don't have as any, I think. So I guess our hand is a bet. Let's see. Ace 6-7 should be the same result as with the one from Poker Trainer. Yeah, you can also get the ranges from. You can get the ranges from both. Yeah. You can also in PLO trainer you can also get the sims and not the sims, the ranges, and run sims for later streets. But still it's annoying because it always takes, I don't know how long you need to run them in order to get a result that's reliable. Possibly like, yeah, also depending on your computer, but I think at least you have to run it like 1 or 2 days, and yeah, that's annoying. If you have like 10 hands every day, you want to know what the perfect play is, and then you would have to wait another like 20 days in order to have all the answers, and meanwhile you already forgot about most of it. So yeah, it's a bit annoying and also a lot of work. Yeah, not sure how long it. Yeah, I think that's reasonable to assume that it's taking so long. There is a you can get also I just want to make an example. You can get a free cloud server from Google. Is it Google or is it Amazon? Yeah, it's Google, I think. You get just get like $200, which you can use. So that's free, and after that you will get charged. But yeah, you can use this one and test it. And I was doing this, trying to run a heads-up sim. And yeah, all my credits were used after 1 month. And yeah, I think I was only finished doing the pre-flop simulations, and I built a sim for heads up. So yeah, it takes really long. Also depending on the complexity and how big the tree is. So yeah, river sims go the fastest, turns are already slower. Flop sims, you have to wait longer, and if you want to use the whole tree with pre-flop, yeah, that's not possible at the moment for Omaha. Oh, yesterday also someone said I should use a program. Not sure how this was called, but I wanted to check it out, but had no time yesterday anymore. So anyways, let's now. Oh, this is also different. Yeah, they built in PLO Trainer and in Vision, they built the trees completely different. The bet size in PLO Trainer was 33%, here it is 50%. And the raise size was 50% as well, and here the raise size is 75%. I like this one more because it's a single raise pot and you want to build a pot. Yeah, hi Georgie. So if we get raise, I guess we have to call. Yeah, we have to call. Even if we just have a gut shot, we need to call. I wonder what happened in this hand. I think turn was like a 7 or something. Not bringing so I think my opponent was checking. But yeah, after he's raising, you can see he should continue a lot on this card. And if he continues, what are we supposed to do? Seems like ace, 6, 7. I suspect our hand might still be continuing. Yeah, some, but not that much. So there is the ace of our hand folds quite a bit and continues not that often. Yeah, I guess it's very bad that the straights came in. Let's make it a blank. So we call, and turn is, this is like one of the biggest blanks possible. And we should fold with the bare gut shots, fold with the backdoor flush draws, fold with a lot of our aces, but not with the ones that got hearts too. At least, yeah. Yeah, so this definitely makes sense. I think the actual hand was, yeah, doing fine. Thanks for asking. How are you doing? I think in the actual hand it was 7, and then it got check, and on the river it was a 6 as well, and then it got check as well, and not sure if I won or lost. Can't remember this one, but yeah, he gave up with some stuff that he raised in the first place. Yeah, the question is this a re-raise? And the answer is probably. So raise, download, Jack 869. Jack 869. Yeah, looks like a re-raise, although solver is not sure, but yeah, if you compare the numbers, re-raise seems to be the best option, but it's definitely on the edge. Oh, that's an interesting one too. What is your Twitch chat? What is your guess? What should we do according to the solver? My guess, I don't want to say my guess yet, because this might change the way you decide. Yeah, bet. And how much do we bet? We 3-bet from the big blind against MP. Yeah, we have to change it a bit. So then it's this way. King, deuce, 9. We could do king 8 deuce instead. Yeah, that's good. Oh, my bad. It's rainbow. Solver is never using 75%, so that's definitely wrong. I think on this sort of boards it's 50% or 100%. I guess the bet size is full pot. But let's see who was closest. So our hand is ace 6-3. And 50% is definitely the main bet size used, and pot is used as well. With 2 backdoor flush draws, which we have, it seems to be a mix between 50% and full pot. Not sure which combos he likes more for full pot and why. But yeah, so I guess 50%. These are the double flush draws. Is it more potting or more? Yeah, I guess 50% and 100% is fair. Not in 3-bet pots. It has 75% in single raised pots on the on most boards. So yeah, so it's pot or 50%. I guess if you pot, you probably will not fold anymore. Is this right? Yeah, with our hands, you are not folding. If you got any backdoors, you down fold. If the backdoors are to the ace-high flush, and yeah, if the backdoors are weaker, you still fold some. So you fold, you got a weak backdoor draw. So let's go back and see how we react to raises if we use the 50% sizing, and he's now potting. And now we We even fold some backdoor flush draw type hands. Why is it folding when you got the ace high backdoor flush draw and the ace in spades? Okay, when you block your own backdoor flush draw a bit, then it makes sense to fold. The weaker backdoor flush draw we also don't want to continue. With two backdoor flush draws like we have, he still wants to get it in. Yeah, I wonder why so much folding is happening. Yeah, sick. I think I know a good reason. He can, the king high boards, he can have a lot of kings maybe. Why are we? So although some kings should already fold against raise, so that's yeah, we still fold on this board, surprisingly quite often. What if we have the same board, not the same, but board that's close to this one. Let's take this. I guess we will now probably use a betting strategy that's quite similar. Yeah, we pot way more, and I guess we don't fold anymore. Is this correct? So if we get repotted, then everything is calling. So it seems like the king is a dangerous card for us, and we want to fold some still on the king high boards, because he has a lot more top set of kings than top set of queens, because less queens get opened in these positions and less queens defend against the re-raise. I mean, okay, you are right. I mean, this was king 8 which we used. We could use this one instead and see if the results change. So 50%. Although on this board more putting is done, because all these gut shots, I guess. So let's see. So if we pot, are we here folding? Not much. So a lot less folding on these boards where gut shots and inside wraps are possible. So yeah, that's also. Can we have queen high boards with almost no draws? I think that's basically impossible. Maybe this one. I mean, this has a lot of draws, but they are unlikely. Also a lot of potting. And we probably don't fold against a repot. Yeah, we don't fold at all. Yeah, so we can still fold some on this absolute dry boards where no straight draws are possible, and there where once our opponent has us beat, we are screwed very badly. And yeah, it also takes balls to re-raise a pot size bet with nothing, but not sure how much. I mean, I'm not sure what the solver does if he has like ace king 10 jack or something. But I think some humans, or many humans, might just get it in, and then a fold probably is not correct anymore. So what hands are re-raising here? if we pot, what hands is he re-raising with? Hand classes, load, hand classes. Let's see. Two pair. Sets will continue to slow play. Overpair? How the fuck can you have an overpair? That's strange. Yeah, I mean, okay. Bottom two also want to re-raise always. Top two most of the time. Top and bottom are, I recognize this already, that these combinations often used to slow play. Yeah, look at this. The sets, only bottom set wants to re-raise, and middle and top set will slow play most of the time. Yeah, I wonder how this is possible too. I mean, also the pre-flop action. If he raises under the gun, we re-raise. It seems like the solver wants to slow play some aces. Otherwise, he would not be able to have an overpair. Right, you are right that I have to choose all hands. Bottom two, but I guess this will not change much because he probably is not re-raising many bluffs. Middle pair, backdoor nut flush draw. Yes, re-raising a very small percentage of the time. That's an overpair again. Middle pair, two backdoor flush draws sometimes get very crazy. I guess they also would need backdoor straight draws, right? Although these are not. Although here this one, a 7 is good, 4 is good, well, not good, but adds some equity. This one has a lot of potential to get good turns. Yeah, so middle pair, two backdoor flush draws and backdoor straight draws will sometimes bluff, but I think most humans don't use this hands as a bluff. I might be wrong, but I don't see this happen very often, so I assume that humans don't do that. Humans fold or call, I guess. Yeah, set again. Gets slow played the majority of the time, even with no backup, and the sets with backup even get slow played more often. And yeah, the majority of the re-raising is done with very good hands, as you can see. So yeah, that's, yeah. The folding of aces probably also has to do with the range construction it's doing. So I don't see any. Where's top pair? Top pair. Yeah. Top pair is only calling or folding. At least the ones I see here. Top pair, backdoor nut flush draw, yeah. Two backdoor nut flush draws, the top pair sometimes will re-raise, but basically top pair is not chosen as a semi-bluff. My range, if I am the 3-better, my range is not capped that much. I mean, I probably will not have a lot of sets of 8s or set of deuces, but I can easily have a set of kings, and have aces often. So yeah, I guess he might actually have more strong hands because he probably has the same amount of kings, maybe even a bit more, and more eights, more deuces, and yeah, also more hands like king 8. Yeah, I mean, if I often see that people shuffle like ace king jack 10 or something, ace king queen 10, and yeah, according to the solver, this should never be done. Let's see against the 50% sizing. If now some top pairs will re-raise and get it in, but against pot size we don't want to do this. Top pair. Now it's doing a bit of re-raising. 21% when having 2 backdoor flush draw, not flush draws, 7% with only 1 backdoor not flush draw. King jack. Yeah, these hands also have weak, although not all, but some of them have weak backdoor flush draws to backdoor, not backdoor flush draws, backdoor straight draws. Yeah, but the majority of this hand type wants to call, and only top pair, all backdoor flush draw, is always just calling. I mean, if people are actually scared with their aces once they get re-raised, probably ace king or any king might be a profitable re-raise if people still fold. But my guess is that they probably down, so it's not a good re-raise against most. So what did we learn? Top pair, top kicker and stuff is not a re-raise. We can still fold on this board if get re-raised with a lot of our aces combos. What else did we learn? Pot size is utilized more often when also gut shots and straight draws are possible. On the boards like this, 50% is the main size. I mean, we already talked about that yesterday, sort of. So that should not be new if you were into yesterday's stream too. This is interesting. I wonder if this is a call or if I should fold. I'm not sure if this is a 3-bet, but against the button, he's isolating a fish. This cannot be 2-bet. I hope. Let's see. First, I want to find out if this is a re-raise, but I think it should be. I mean, it's double suited, it's relatively good connected, so that should be fine. Yeah, we got exactly 100 BB. So our hand wants to re-raise if double suited, even single suited you can consider it. Solver wasn't sure about this yet. And if we get re-raised, what is our plan then? I guess call, but I want to make sure that that's the case. And yeah, we should call. I think in this case it's a bit worse when we call, because yeah, we build a pot that is bigger than the normal one because we had a limper in there. But yeah, I guess it's probably still a call. Ah, now we are talking. So I called and we don't have any sims. And that's why we have to switch to vision. So this is small blind versus button, I guess, because for the big blind this is not available, but this should be always, this should almost be the same range. So we are fine doing this. It's a paired board and the board is 6 deuce or it's almost. Let's do this one instead. And okay, I messed up. Let's do this board instead. The pot to stake ratio is actually even smaller, and yeah, he should bet always, sometimes 25%, sometimes full pot. And Jack 8, Queen, Queen. I think we faced an all in. If we face an all in, our hand should fold always. I also did that, but let's see what this player is supposed to do if he's facing a shove after he made the small bet size. Yeah, looks like he is not folding much anymore. Yeah, probably hands that just have overcards. I think he probably can with some stuff that completely missed. Like 9, 10, Jack Queen or something. Yeah, but the actual pot has a smaller pot to stake ratio. We need 25% equity, but it's well possible that we don't got it. Let's where is my Pro Poker Tools? I think I closed it by accident, and that's why we have to reopen it now. And let's put our hand in. We have backdoor clubs and backdoor diamonds. The board is 6 spades, 6 hearts. Let's just give him like 6%. See what our equity is. Oh, look at this. No. When he bets 25% against the 6, it's probably 2 outs. What are 2 outs? Like 10% equity. You probably, if he knows that you have a 6, you probably can still fold aces, but yeah, it's tough. As you can see, if he's 3-betting the top 6%, it's close. We can almost continue. I mean, that's not reality, but it's like an estimate that might be close to it. If he's a bit tighter, then our equity drops quite significantly. What if we make it on this Yeah, okay, so every percent that we add gives us like 5% extra equity. 6. That's what total about 7. Yeah, so yeah, I guess this is still a fold, even with the better pot to stack ratio than in a normal 3-bet pot. Yeah, I thought it's close, but yeah, I also still folded. Oh, that's an interesting one too. Yeah, this is definitely a pure 3-bet. Not sure why I did that, but not sure if I can still fold. Probably not, to be honest. But not sure. I also think that this player might be stacking off a bit too light, so I have an even harder time folding against him. But let's see. 3-bet pot, blind versus blind. On a single suited board, straight as possible. 10, 9, 6. Interesting. This is a board that should get donked very often by the small blind. I guess it makes sense because, yeah, because the big blind often has aces and kings, and this is a board he doesn't like at all, and yeah, he will often check behind with aces and kings, and if you have a straight or something very good, you want to start building a pot, and you also want to sometimes bluff and put pressure on him on a very dangerous board like this. But anyways, in the actual hand he checked to me. I used a bet sizing that was too big, but anyways, so I raise, he re-raises. His re-raise is also way bigger than this one, but yeah, let's see how we should proceed now with our hand. I should never have this hand, so we have to make it this. So yeah, guess that's not that big of a difference if we give us an ace instead of a 5, because the ace is often not helping us too much. Only against kings with a flush draw, so maybe an ace is a bit too much. Can we have a 7 instead? Is this allowed? No. An 8 will give us... An 8 is fair, I guess. 8 is also not allowed. Yeah, if we have a board pair too, this makes our hand stronger. So let's go with this. And yeah, we should call or get it in, but only if you have the flush draw we get it in, so we should just call. Yeah, given that he's raising so big, I think you probably should get it in. Yeah, you definitely have to be very cautious on this type of boards. I think also most people will not have a big donking range like this. Most will try to go for the check raise. Yeah, you definitely have to be very cautious on boards like this, and yeah, check a lot with your aces and kings type hands. So let's analyze this one with Pro Poker Tools. We also have the additional read that our opponent might be stacking off a bit too light. Jack diamond, 5 diamond, queen clubs, queen hearts. So what is he getting in? Let's first construct the range. Looks like this. No aces in there. This guy today won a lot of money off me, I think. I also misplayed a lot against him. So what can he have? This is always working very well. So you can have sets, you can have 2 pairs, you can have only 1 pair, but we have to make adjustment to this later. He can have the ace high flush draw, or is the king high flush draw already enough? Yeah, probably. So he has a king high flush draw or better, and he can have a lot of straight draws. Okay, let's first click start, see how we do against this range. Okay, against this range we do very well, but it obviously is way too wide at the moment. So when he does this, he also has to have hearts with it. So that's nuts. He probably can have reps. King, queen, jack. He might have king, queen, jack. Queen, 9, 5. What the fuck is this? 8. This is very weak, right? Yeah, it is weak, so he has to have hearts as well in order to go crazy with this. Same is true for this end. 10, 7, king, queen. Yeah, also hearts needed. What is this? Guess it also needs hearts. This needs hearts. Queen jack needs hearts. Jack 8 needs hearts. Queen 10 8 needs hearts too. This needs hearts. We already had this one, so he needs a 10. He needs let's say only top pair open ender wants to get it in. 10 7 is very weak. Needs hearts. 10 8 needs hearts. King jack needs hearts. 8 6 with hearts. I think he might be crazy enough to go in with this. 8 5, that's very weak. Even with hearts it's too weak, so he has to have a pair as well with this one. 9 8, he needs hearts. 9 7, he also needs hearts. This range already probably is too wide, so but let's see what our equity is against this. Queen jack 7 needs hearts and probably is also too weak, so he needs to have a pair with it too. Queen 8, yeah, that's, although with hearts, yeah, let's just add it in. 7 5 with hearts, but also needs a pair, so 9 10 or 6. 9 10 or 6. What's this? 7 6. Yeah, this one needs a pair and hearts. 9 10 6 and hearts. You probably can also have hands like 7 7 and hearts, so a blocker bluff that also has some extra equity in form of a flush draw. Yeah, I guess that's fair. And we have 40% against this very wide range. I guess we started with 100 VB, right? Yeah, about that. So let's see what the pot in the end will be, although is this correct, plus that is 86, so a bit less than 100 BB, but yeah, I guess that's okay. So we have to call, let's say I bet 13 on the flop, so 6 pre-flop and 13 later, so it's 100 minus 6 minus 13 divided, oh that's as cancel it, divided 1, that's always giving the same result, and now we make the division, and yeah, this will be 200, and our equity needed is 40.5%, and we don't have this even against a very wide range, so this is probably a fold. Yeah, I mean his range probably isn't as wide as this one. He could also have like kings with hearts, jacks with hearts, forgot some stuff. Kings with hearts, jacks with hearts, queens with hearts, although queens with hearts are not possible because I got the queen in hearts. Yeah, okay, let's keep it at this. Then our equity doesn't change at all, so yeah, we're still doing, yeah, I mean it's close, but yeah, it seems to be a fold still, although we got an overpair and an open and straight draw. No, I don't have the main blockers to the nut straight. 7-8 is a nut straight. We don't have a 7, we don't have an 8. Moving on. This probably is a check. But yeah, no multi-way sims available, but yeah, probably a check. This pot is already, the pot size is strange, I think. I think this probably means that Mazentaya was min raising and I re-raised, the other guy cold called, and then Mazentaya called. Then a pot of 20 BB might be possible. Yeah, we can just make some estimations to figure out how good or bad we possibly do on a board like this. 5 diamond, 2 spades, king spades, and yeah, the cold caller, let's just give him 8% to 25%, and this guy probably limp calling 10%, that's not good, 5% to he's relatively loose, 50%, and then we are still having the best equity against the ranges we assume for our opponents. Yeah, but once a lot of money goes in, our hand is complete crap. Let's look into this spot. How do we do this? I guess we will king 5 deuce. King 5 deuce is a king 5 3 is already a lot more drawy, but yeah, let's take this one instead. So this is then 3-7, and what should we do with our hand? Yeah, we should check most of the time. This is not working. Why is this not working? Also, I understand. Messed up the positions, so let's do it this way. Again, this one. Now we are talking. %50 is the main size, but also a lot of checking some slow plays, checking the vector flush draw, betting with a lot of other stuff. 50%. Could be the case that we should still bet here, although it seems quite tough against two opponents. But against one, this is a bet, and a bet of 50%. What happens if we get raised? I guess we fold. Are we folding? Yes, we do. Only when we got the nut flush draw, which we don't, we can continue. Okay, I think that's already the last hand for today, so we have to look into some general boards. And as I had the one high card, two low card dry boards, the rainbow versions in last stream, I will do the same thing today again, but with the single suited version of the hands. So ace high boards will probably give a great advantage to the preflop aggressor always. But let's see. So single suited board. What is the one that's very dry? So this one is very dry. And yeah, we got the advantage on the ace high board always as preflop aggressor, and therefore we bet a lot. The size used is 75%, unsurprisingly. If checked, then the caller will not attack very often. This also makes sense. I think this might already change a lot if we move on to a king high board. So this one is very dry. On the king high board, out of position is checking most of the time, despite being the aggressor, and yeah, but it's the button also will play it passively very often. Just for fun, we could find out what hands are betting. I guess the very good ones and some bluffs. No pair nut flush blocker is the main bluff. Mid pair nut flush blocker is a very often used bluff as well. Bottom pair nut flush blocker. Top two low flush draw. So two pair and a flush draw also like to bet, unsurprisingly. Sets with a flush draw, bet some, slow play some. You can see yourself. Nut flush draw only checks most of the time to keep our checking range balanced and make it possible that we can have the nuts once we check still. Bottom, this is surprising. The bottom pair with the nut flush blocker will bet a lot, but the bottom pair with the nut flush draw will check a lot. Yeah. Even the overpair with the nut flush blocker is not betting that often. I guess we just try to get a showdown and we are not trying to build a pot. Yeah, in general, I recognized in these spots when you're out of position and still have a great stack to pot ratio, you will play very passively. And yeah, not only but also with your strong mate hands. So sets also will check the majority of the time, I guess. Yeah, set high flush draw checks most of the time. Set with flush blocker checks most of the time. Set with the nut flush draw checks 75%. Set with a low flush draw is also checking the majority of the time, but bets a bit more. So that was already interesting. Let's now see how the button will construct his range in this scenario. And the button will not slow play his sets. He will bet most of the time. Also need to drink a bit. Yeah, both players like to utilize the nut flush blocker a lot, as you can see. No pair nut flush blocker will bet 100% of the time for 75% sizing. Middle pair with nut flush blocker will also play aggressively. Sets will not get slow played that often. Weak hands like top pair with a flush blocker will often try to take it down on the flop by betting. Same is also true for middle pair with a flush blocker. In contrast to this, middle pair with an actual flush draw will check often. Same is true for top pair. Overpair with a nut flush draw will check almost always. That's sick. Although, yeah. I wonder how we can have an overpair here. So again, solver wants to slow play some aces. But the most humans will only just call with very weak aces most of the time, the rainbow ones. So it will be hard for most humans to have the nut flush draw and the overpair here. Okay, moving on to the next board. Queen high one, that is very dry. So let's take this one. Yeah, the same thing again, like on all other draws other than the ace high one. We will be very passive. And it seems like the lower the top card gets, the more aggressive the button will be. Jack high boards will bet more often from the UTG player than the queen or king high board, if I remember correctly. This possibly has to do something with the range construction of these two guys. Yeah, it's on all boards I was looking at so far, it's always the case that the in position player most of the time has these frequencies in the single raise pot, so it's always 50-50 if he bets or not. Yeah, that's probably true. So Georgie wrote, my observation are that in PLO board interactions are more important than overpairs because of your blocking effects. Yeah, that's right. So often you can bet or bluff certain hands which stake a lot of blockers, and yeah, even weak ones, because you will have a lot of fold equity or future blockers. So yeah, these thing you just said is definitely true. So now 10 high board on this, so the betting frequency goes up for UTG on the jack high board, and I think it's increasing one more time for the 10 high board. And if checked to the button, it's all, again, like 50-50 if he bets or not. And the range should be constructed kind of similar to the ones we had in the previous examples. Now let's change positions. This can get a bit dry, but maybe we'll have some important findings. So now it's UTG, there's this big blind. The big blind should check 100% on an ace high board, and UTG should be very aggressive. What about a king high board? I guess also a lot of checking from the big blind. Yeah, I mean, we can simplify that and just say that we want to check 100%. But the UTG player now is a lot more cautious and checks back a bit more than 50% and bets the rest. Yeah, we could look into some hand categories and how he constructs his range. I assume that the nut flush blocker will be one main component to bluff again. Yeah, no pair, nut flush draw. The bets this time, out of position, although this is with an open and straight draw too. Yeah, the bottom pair, nut flush blocker will bet again. Bottom pair, low flush draw, open and straight draw. Okay, this is not nutty. The nuttiness is very low, but we are stacking a lot of potential out, so makes sense to bet this. No pair, nut flush blocker, and an open and straight draw. This is not possible, so this probably is a wrap, right? This is not an open and straight draw. What are you talking about? Why is this an open and straight draw? Okay. So this is just the nut flush blocker and backdoor straight draws. Sets bet. Yeah, no pair with the nut flush blocker again. Bets always. Although this is a pair with a pair of queens. But yeah, some of these hands have no pair. Top pair, low flush draw, gut shot. Yeah, these hands split 50-50. I mean, with these hands, you hate to get check raised, so you definitely don't want to bet them always and get into tough spots, especially against opponents who check raise a lot. Top two get checked 51% of the time. No pair flush blocker. Even that, if you have no pair and a flush blocker only, then you bet about half the time. You can see some of the hands here. Even an 8-high flush blocker is good enough. Okay. Guess we had enough of the king high board. Let's now move on to the queen high one. Oh, this is very intense for me. And yeah, you try to stay focused all the time and have to talk while doing this. This is yeah, very intense and very exhausting very quickly. So yeah, again checking most of the time on the queen high board. I mean, probably also an okay simplifications to check almost always or always. In position versus check, yeah, betting about 50% of the time, checking the rest. Let's look into some of the bluffs the big blind will have here. So which hands is he check raising that are weak? So he has a 15% check raise. Can we click this and see only the raises? I guess so. This is very strong. Bottom pair nut flush draw, gut shot also very strong. Set strong. Middle pair nut flush draw, gut shot. Okay, that's strong. These are actual gut shots this time. So what weak hands? Bottom pair nut flush blocker is used as a bluff. Bottom pair nut flush blocker. No pair nut flush draw, open and straight draw. This is not possible. Okay, a rep. And sometimes it's just nut flush draw. He's wasting, so to speak, his nut flush draws with 3 hearts because it's less likely that he hits it. So he uses it as a check raise bluff, and if he's getting 4-bet, he will fold. Yeah, you can see the ones with 2 hearts he's basically calling when he has no other board interaction. So what else? What weak hands are check raising? No pair nut flush blocker. Yeah, he has jacks and 9s. Yeah, these hands play terrible and can't continue otherwise if they don't check raise. Yeah, we also it's definitely nice to have the spades too, so that you can continue on more turns. Okay, so the bluffs are also built around, yeah, the interaction you got with the board, and the nut flush blocker is used very often to bluff. So yeah, let's now assume he bluffed, got called. Let's say I wonder what he does on the turn, probably giving up. But let's make this a 6 in diamonds, and let's say he has the ace of hearts, king, jack, jack. Why can I have a heart in here? So no pair, nut flush draw, no pair, nut flush blocker now gives up. What happens? Let's make this another turn. So he calls deuce in diamonds. So no straight coming in this time. And again we give up. What happens if we hit our king? So call, and we hit call, and we hit the king in diamonds. Okay, we still give up with the nut flush blocker, the gut shot, but we would continue with the nut flush draw and the gut shot. So yes, often these are one and done bluffs. These ones with no equity, as it seems. Okay, moving on to the jack high board. Jack 6 deuce. So a lot of checking, and I guess again like 50% bets, 50% checks. Yep, like I assumed. Now let's move on to the 10-5 deuce or whatever it was before. So the board with almost no straight draws but a flush draw, and yeah, again the out of position player with no initiative checks most of the time, and then it's again a perfect 50-50 which we bet. So cutoff versus button. Are there any changes to expect? I guess probably not. Ace high board again, the advantage for the pre-flop aggressor, but surprisingly we will check this more often than bet. Yeah, I guess this is because the cutoff already is a position where we will raise first in very light, and yeah, the button will have a quite good calling range, and yeah, we have the advantage in top sets, but yeah, he also will have a lot of strong stuff here in here, so we cannot bet as relentless as in other positions. Okay, and once we check, yeah, he will also play, the button will also play it passive. Not very surprising. On the king high board, the cutoff will most likely get even more passive and check most of the time. Yeah, 94%. Okay. What is he betting? Nut flush blocker, I guess. And very strong weight hands that don't block the entire board so that our opponent can still continue. And we will have a lot of slow plays, is my guess. So what are our bets? All these hands almost have no bets. Top and bottom and low flush draw. Okay. Bottom pair, nut flush blocker. Middle pair, nut flush blocker. No pair, nut flush blocker. Okay, and then all the other stuff is only very rarely betting. Check. And yeah, not that he's not attacking that much, but yeah, if he bets, how many check raises will we see? Not too many. And yeah, let's see some of the hands he likes to check raise with. I guess sets are in there. Nut flush draws with some help. Top 2 low flush draw, top 2 high flush draw, set low flush draw, top and bottom high flush draw, set flush blocker, top pair nut flush draw. These are the main bets. And yeah, again, I guess he's turning hands into a bluff. Top pair nut flush blocker, top and bottom nut flush blocker is interesting. It's an interesting choice because yeah, I guess we still fold against a shove. So this is sort of merged. I guess it's also hard to continue with a hand like this. King deuce. This is not an okay flush blocker. It's not flush blocker. I get it. Yeah, I guess we just want to. Yeah, this kind of hands, king, queen, deuce. It's very hard to continue, and yeah, you hate life basically. He will barrel you off or destroy you on so many runouts, so you have to turn your hand into a bluff. Okay, king, queen, deuce will be our hand, and how do we proceed? Let's say a flush came in. King, queen, deuce. Okay, seems like it doesn't matter if we have the flush blocker or not. We will not continue this bluff. Probably also fold if we get the bet. Yeah, okay, with a high flush we get it in, but otherwise we fold. So the bluff will not be continued on a flush card. So he calls. On what cards will the bluff be continued? Let's make this jack. What about a jack? Oh, jack. This is a jack. Is our bluff be continued? Not really. Okay, we also have the top and bottom we check. With the flush blocker we bet some, especially when we got the king high flush blocker. Top and bottom high flush draw. Yeah, okay, with a high flush draw makes sense to continue. So these bluffs also often give up or only bet at a low frequency on many turns. What happens on the jack? So he calls. Now there's a jack, and yeah, and what happens if we check now? We check and we got a bet in. So bottom two with a high flush draw we get it in, and yeah, the top two are now worthless as it seems. Not the top two, the top and bottom now will give up and fold the hand. Interesting how he plays these ones. So this is also like a one and done thing. Queen eye boards. You would check very often. Yep. and you will attack. This is again like the 50-50 thing, and remove this. Jack high boards. What happens here? Bets more than on the queen high one. This is again like the 50-50 thing. 10 high board. Not sure if verbalizing makes you a better player, but it might be. I hope this will also improve my English skills if I stream basically every day. Although this is not helping me that much so far, because I mainly talk German otherwise. I also watch most movies and other TV shows in English if I can, most of the time with subtitles, to improve my English. It's also, I like it to be challenging for my mind. I don't want to get lazy, and yeah, if you don't use it, you lose it, so I want to keep my brain capacity as long as possible. And yeah, nowadays a lot of stuff is in English, so understanding and being to speak English well is a good skill to have. A deuce. So yeah, he checks most of the time, and this, he's not betting that often. So ace high boards, this is the first time an ace high board is not bet like crazy, but it makes sense because yeah, now he's on the button, and on the button you will have a very wide range, playing like 50% of hands, and yeah, then the ace is not as powerful for your range than in other positions. So basically you don't really have to look into this, you just need to know the frequencies, and then once you see a board, you can estimate how good the players hit it and play accordingly. Yeah, looks like the button in general plays relatively passive. It makes sense, he's very wide. In this case, both players are very wide, because the big blind will also defend wide versus the wide open. Yeah. Oops, that was not my intention. I just was trying to go to the next board as quick as possible, because afterwards we will also have to go through the 3-bet pots, and we'll see if we have some interesting findings there. Yeah, the button in general seems to check a bit more than he's betting. Despite having position, he is playing most of these boards passive. Yeah, this one is again like about 50-50. The ones before he was checking a bit more. Yeah, let's do blind versus blind to have every position completed. So again, a lot of betting, I guess, yeah, but it's about 50-50 out of position. But you are out of position sucks, and you also open quite a lot of hands, so yeah. Let's see how much we want to raise from the big blind. Not that often. I mean, it makes sense not to raise an ace-high board too often, because yeah, he has the advantage in top set by far. I mean, we should not have top set basically ever, and if we raise a board like this, he already knows that we will not have top set at all, and yeah, not sure if he can do anything about that with that, because we can still have other strong hands like top pair nut flush draw or other sets, but yeah, still. If we cannot have the nuts, we probably should be cautious with our raises. This is more of a feeling thing. I don't have a randomizer or anything. I also make it a bit player dependent. If I think he's folding too often, then I bet more, and against other guys who are calling stations, then I will check back more, and might also not use GTO ranges, but bet more merged, bet hands that do well against these calling station type guys. So overpair becomes a lot better when you often can bet the overpair twice if no draws get in and check back on the river, for example. While against other guys, this is not good, who might attack you or do other things that you don't like. Top 2 nut flush draw will raise, said okay, these are very strong hands. Top and bottom low flush draw is also a strong hand. Let's try to find a weak one. Said nut flush blocker is also a strong one. Bottom pair, flush blocker, gut shot. Yeah, that's a weak one. That's definitely a weak one. So I just was interested in what type of hands the solver will use as a bluff. Top, bottom, high flush draw, middle pair, flush blocker, gut shot. So that's another bluff. Middle pair and gut shot, even without a blocker. Middle pair, flush blocker should very rarely bluff. Okay. King 8 deuce. I mean, honestly, often you are just in autopilot, especially if you play many tables and have to make many decisions very quickly and fast after one after another. So yeah, this is, but I guess your intuition get schooled, and you get better intuition if you go into the spots later or do these sort of analysis and try to understand how you should construct your range. At least I hope so. So pre-flop aggressor. Now we are again playing this passively, but not that passive. The positions, the button versus cutoff, for example, were playing. The out of position player was a lot more passive than here. I guess that's because the big blind has such a huge range. He's defending like 70% of hands, so you can get away very easy by betting more. Yeah, and he also, because his range is so wide, he has to check back a lot of stuff. Usually I play 4 regular tables and 2 Zoom tables on stars. Yeah, the frequencies didn't change much compared with Queen and King high board. And yeah, for the big blind also almost everything stayed the same. Yeah, 4 regular tables and 2 zoom tables. Today I played 3 zoom tables and 4 regular ones. It's annoying that you only can play 4 regular tables. Normally I would just play regular tables because zoom pool is always a stronger player pool, but yeah, as they restricted the regular tables to 4, you have to play zoom if you get bored with 4 tables only, and that's what I do. The betting frequency goes up. No, I think it's almost the same. That was not correct. And yeah, so looks like, yeah, all these board textures. Oh, that's way too draw heavy. Take this one instead. Yeah, the regular tables are, if you choose the proper ones, are a lot softer than the zoom pool. I mean, that's not always the case, but most of the time. I mean, today often, I think for zoom 200 it was like 1 fish in a player pool, and the pool had like 20 entries, so that's a lot worse than regular tables where you usually have at least 1 fish, sometimes even 2. Oh, interesting. The big blind likes the 10-5 deuce board. Yeah, okay, this makes sense. I mean, this is not hitting the small blinds range very well, and so you get away with more bets. So you just have to think about the ranges all the time, and yeah, then you can make good range bets. So yeah, you don't need to go through all this. This is all basic logic. Yeah. Okay. Moving on. So button versus UTG. That is, I guess now the button will have a huge advantage on this board, so he will check 100% and he will bet close to 100%, no, although not that much. Yeah, but it's close to. Yeah, I mean, these ace-high boards are always like this, especially in the 3-bet pots. This one is already a bit more interesting. We should do some donking. Yeah, a lot more. I mean, the small blind is opening like 30%, and yeah, the big blind is defending 70% of hands, so he has a lot more strong hands on this board. It's also way harder for the small blind to make 2-pair. So what are our bets here? Top and bottom. What are the main bets? No pair, not flush blocker. Set. Okay, set is a good one. Top 2 high flush draw. Yeah, but the set with the low flush draw also. I think you probably want to slow play the king set, because it's very hard for your opponent to have anything if you see this board. But yeah, his main hands are like ace king and stuff, and when you already got 2 kings in your hand, yeah, you should probably not donk this hand. So, but yeah, he might get crazy and say like, what the fuck is he doing? I have aces, let's get the money in. He is stupid. Yeah, but if he, yeah, so maybe you can induce stuff, but yeah, I think in general probably kings should slow play. Yeah, you see kings, I mean, most sets slow play, but what are the ones that bet the most? Yeah, that are the some kings, kings, eights, deuces, kings. Yeah, from this it's hard to say which ones you should slow play, but I think the general rule of thumb, probably kings should be slow played more than the other ones, so you don't donk it. We can look into this. No pair high flush draw. Okay. Yeah, okay. No pair high flush draw is also hard to continue with. But when you donk, you sometimes get folds or he just calls. And yeah, check calling also sucks. So let's see. King. How is King playing? Do we have to click this too? Yeah, okay. King checks 85%. What about 8-8? Yeah. 8-8 checks 69%, and deuce checks even less. Yeah, my assumption was correct. Yeah, ace with flush draw on these boards gets crazy most of the time. I mean, he can have you dominated. In case for some reason you might donk a pair and a flush draw, and you probably don't get away with a pair and a flush draw. And you have it crushed if you have aces with the nut flush draw. So yeah, there's a lot of reason to get crazy with it. Yeah, so we learned how to play our sets on this kind of boards, and yeah, the main bet size is 50%. Yeah, makes sense. What happens if we get raised here? We got ace. Ace is not folding a lot. It's only folding if it's blocking, if it's having the nut flush blocker, and this also makes a lot of sense. When you block the ace high hard flush draw, it's a lot harder for your opponent to have a semi bluff, and then you can get away. But otherwise, you are not, as it seems. Yeah, overpair with the nut flush draw folds. What are the? Yeah, seems like only this one. Makes sense. Let's look into UTG's raises. He's raising 16%. That's a lot. So top pair nut flush draw. This makes sense. Over pair nut flush blocker. Yeah, but it's hard. I mean, I will not have many aces. When this happens, I probably re-raise like 99.999% of the time, and when I just call, I probably misclicked. Set flush blocker. Do we also have some weak hands that we sometimes want to re-raise? Bottom pair low flush draw is one. Yeah, but this one also has backdoor straight draws, backdoor flush draw. And if your opponent has a king with not an ace kicker, you might be able to make a good two pair also that beats him. So yeah, these also have other backup in form of backdoor straight draws. No good sets, makes sense. Mid pair high flush draw. Yeah, this also have backdoor flush draws and backdoor straight or backdoor straight draws. At least most of them. Top two, yeah, these are middle pair low flush draw. Yeah, these also have backdoor flush, yeah, backdoor straight draws too. Now this one not really, but if your flush is, yeah, yeah, weak backdoor straight draw, and also, yeah, if your flush is good, you can also hit a 9, and yeah, so yeah, makes sense to have some of these hands in there too, because calling probably has no good EV, and you might sometimes get aces to fold. Set nut flush blocker, overpair flush blocker, nut flush draw. Okay, so a few bluffs with a lot of backdoor equity, but yeah, many mate hands as well. This looks like a good range construction overall. I mean, it has to. It's a solver. It's playing perfectly. So that's not surprising. Yeah. This is so a lot of checking back on the queen high board, and otherwise 50% is the sizing you want to use most. I think on the rainbow boards the pot sizing is more dominant than the 50%, but on the boards with a flush draw, 50% is utilized most often. I could be wrong, but yeah, I think that's the case. Let's look into this on this board. Okay, that's a check often, makes sense. And yeah, again, 50% is a dominating size we want to use. Can we click on this? No, we just copy it to clipboard. It's not really helping too much. Yeah, we could look into some of the stuff he wants to bet pot with mid pair, high flush draw, open and straight draw. That's not possible. That's a check. That's not an open and straight draw. Yeah, these are basically hands where you want to end the pot. Yeah, and so what other things? Bet full pot, over pair, flush blocker. Yeah, so you basically just want to end the hand. And yeah, don't want your opponent to peel and see more cards. So where are the 100% ones? Queen, queen, flush blocker, ace, ace, flush blocker. What are the half pots? The top pair, flush blocker, open and straight draw. This is not an open and straight draw. Fucking hell. Where is the open and straight draw coming from? I think, huh? What? Look at this. None of this has an open and straight draw. I mean, it's not even possible to have an open and straight draw on this board. Are hands like this a bad fold? Like the ace, king, queen, jack? Let's find out. Ace, king, queen, jack. Nope. Ace, king, queen, jack wants to get it in. Okay, with the nut flush draw, definitely. With the high flush draw also. With the flush blocker and the open-ended straight draw. In bunny, yes. I also want to get it in. This seems strange to me. These hands want to get it in. Let's see. Yeah, that's also interesting. Let's see what UTG should raise with. Yeah, there should be a whole lot of flush draw and pair combos and stuff, I guess. So you want to see the raises mainly. Not flush draw gut shot. Yeah, that's possible. And yeah, that's this time these are gut shots. Yeah, this makes sense. I mean, you have no showdown value, but a lot of full equity. Sorry. Yeah, I know it's always very hard to remember all these patterns. Mid pair nut flush draw, yeah, so pair and nut flush draw, all these nut flush draws once you get it in. Bottom pair, low flush draw, open and straight draw. So that's actually a wrap. Low flush draw, bottom pair gut shot. Yeah, okay, that makes what? The bottom two. Sorry. Set gut shot, top two high flush draw. Top two, set. Although not that many things against which you do good with the ace, king, jack, queen, or whatever it was. Against this, you're probably still an underdog. But you do fine against this. Bottom pair, low flush draw, gut shot. You also do well against this, but not well, like 50-50 or something. No pair, nut flush draw, open and straight draw. Yeah, against this stuff, you also do quite well because ace, king, or queen will not. If they hit this pairs, you will make two pair. So we can only win by hitting the draw. Yeah, they can make top two, but yeah, it's doing well against top two, for example. But only in case your opponent has no flush draw as well. But looks like, what is top two and stuff doing? Top two. You need to find top two, but we want no flush draw. So yeah, it's getting in often top and bottom. Top and bottom will not raise most of the time in solver world. So against these are hands against which we do very well, but they down raise the pot, the raise on the flop. What about top and bottom two? Bottom. Where are bottom two? Bottom two, bot two. Okay. Bot 2 is bot 2. It's called for some reason. Okay, bot 2 will also call majority of the time. So this is also not a hand you crush. This is like 50-50. And if it has a flush draw 2, it's not 50-50 anymore. When you are a dog. Yeah, but bottom 2 without help, just call the flop in solver world. Yeah, we can make top two, but yeah, as you see, I think it's probably not doing that well. Against the draws, you are fine, but against the mate hands, seems marginal to stack off with this. Didn't do the equity calculation, but yeah, solver should know what it's doing because yeah, they just test the spot infinite amount of times, and yeah, at some point we find out the best play. So I guess that's probably correct. So yeah, out of position we play very passively, and yeah, these lower cardboards and that which are not that great for pre-flop aggressors range will then be checked more often, and but 50% is still the dominant sizing. Yeah, this is also interesting. Now the aggressor will be out of position. I think in 3-bet pots the continuation bet percentage will go up a lot, but not sure if it's true for the board with a suit as well. So, but we will know very soon. On ace high he will definitely bet a ton, and yeah, and he will use 50%. So basically you can make life more easy for you. Don't use pot at all, just use 50%, because we cannot remember the 1% where it's pot. And how is he reacting to this? He will fold a lot and don't raise at all, basically. No, unfortunately not. PLO trainer also have now these deep stacked. Both have deep stacked for pre-flop, but not for post-flop play. And I think there's no solver on the market that has deep stacked, and that's quite unfortunate. Yeah, as you can see, I think it's going up, right? Or am I just confused? So this is like 33% checking only. What is it if we change this? Where is it? I think then we check back a lot more, right? So out of position you have to do more betting. Yeah, okay, I am correct about this. Where is our nice flop? Okay, so how is he reacting? He's not folding that much. Okay, next one, queen. Yeah, again, 61% continuation betting. Now the raises also start to increase. What about the jack high one? Now the continuation bet should also go down, although it's going up. Now we have a 75% continuation bet, and yeah, the sizing is, you know, more pot size is used, but still the main size is 50%, and 50% will get raised decent amount. Let's see what hands he chooses for the raises. Yeah, bottom pair, nut flush draw. Nut flush draw is always a good one. Bottom two. Now bottom two wants to get it in, but bottom two have backup. Yeah, okay, it's a lot of backup, although not that much. Just a gut shot. Yeah, but a gut shot when you have a tough decision often helps to screw the decision more in the direction of getting it in than folding. Oh, sorry. Bottom 2 nut flush blocker. Top 2. Mid pair nut flush draw. No pair nut flush draw gut shot. Top pair nut flush draw. Top pair nut flush draw always is a nice, very nice one because you can dominate other draws very hard. Over pair nut flush blocker. What? Open this up, please. Okay, he gets there with ace, and then he wants to get it in when he blocks the nut flush draw as well. But yeah, it's hard to get there with ace, to be honest, if you are not a solver. Set nut flush blocker, top pair high flush draw, over pair high flush draw, open and straight draw. Bottom 2. Bottom 2. Now down to that much pot control. Mid pair high flush draw. No pair nut flush draw. Okay, that's interesting. Just the... Okay, this has a bit of backup. So 7 often also gives you the best hand. You also have this backdoor open and straight draw or gut shot. Here sometimes an ace is also good. Yeah, but yeah, sometimes the bare flush draw, the bare nut flush draw is good. I mean, the bare nut flush draw also makes sense to get in because it's very tough to play turns with it. And now you have fold equity, and yeah, you don't have to fold blank turns anymore. So guess it makes sense. What's going on here? 60% continuation bet. On this board, we pot and 50%. I used about the same amount. So it's interesting. So why is that? And what are the pot size bets and what are the half pot bets? Top 2 nut flush draw. Okay. Top and bottom nut flush draw, you basically want to keep weaker draws in. Top pair open and straight draw. Okay, that's also not sure how this is possible. It is not. Although here it is, but this is not an open and straight draw. This is better than one. Okay. Over pair. Bottom 2 bet pot mainly. Okay, bottom 2 also have an ace with it. Yeah, this is basically just because of the playability. I mean, it's very hard to navigate on any turns, and you just want to end the hand right here. I think that's probably the reason. Over pair nut flush draw. But a lot of them check, and some of them bet the pot. Which ones are checking and which one are betting the pot? Hard to say. Some also bet 50%. So yeah, this is like impossible for a human to find out which ones are 50%, which are pot, which are whatever. Yeah, so yeah, this is very hard to find patterns in. So let's not waste our time any longer and go to the next situation and try to find something helpful in there. I guess cutoff will check like 100%, and he will bet less than 100%, but close to it. Yeah, this is again, he has a lot of aces. This is a board that favors him at the most, and yeah, that's why we can play this check only and bet always. Yeah, things should already change a bit. Oh, 50% donking. Yeah, 17% donking for 50% pot. And not much, not only like 50% continuation bet for half pot. So what's going on here? What are the donks? I think I would never donk here. I mean, what hands should I donk with? Top and bottom, low flush draw. This is also a great hand to check raise with. Top 2, low flush draw. Also a great hand to check raise with. No pair, nut flush blocker. Yeah, that's a great hand to donk with. But if you do it only with this hand, you would be quite readable. Set low flush draw. Okay, top 2 high flush draw. Top and bottom high flush draw. Mid pair nut flush draw. No pair high flush draw. Oh, that's tough. It's probably bet fold then. Top pair high flush draw. Mid pair high flush draw. No pair nut flush draw. Okay, that's bottom 2 nut flush draw. Bottom pair flush blocker. Okay. Yeah, but yeah, okay, that's yeah. Again, this makes sense, but I think almost no human is playing like this. But the donking range seems to make sense. I mean, you want to donk some flush draws. I mean, if you just have a bare jack high flush draw or something, or queen high flush draw, donk folding is probably okay because you can't check call, and you still might have some fold equity and can do some plays on turns and rivers. What else what did he want to donk? Nut flush blocker and bottom pair. So you give yourself a chance to improve to 2 pair. You give you have some fold equity, and you also give yourself a chance to either make your hand or to hit the flush or the perceived flush, and then you can also continue to bluff. But your hand is definitely too weak to check raise or to check call with, so you have to use it as a donk. But if you want to have weak hands into your donking range like this, you also have to add some strong hands, and yeah, here you can see the strong ones too. So yeah, makes sense. This is a main thing I need to train on for my game, to get better donking ranges. And if you're in autopilot modus, you often don't get these spots. You just auto check to the aggressor always, and yeah, that's a thing I need to work on. Today I also had like 2 or 3 situations where in hindsight I was like, fuck, this was a clear donk, but yeah, I was in autopilot modus and already checked. So yeah, this is something to incorporate in your game too, if you want to get a great player with a very good win rate. So moving on to the queen high board, yeah, non-aggressor checks most of the time and only 50% continuation bet. Yeah, I guess this board is not that great for the pre-flop aggressor. So moving on to the jack high one. Again, more checking than on the queen high one. But yeah, and here we also check back quite a big amount. What about 10 high? Also need to go very soon, but yeah, I will try to look into all relevant positions before I leave. Yeah, these all look quite similar, the 10, Jack and Queen high board. So now it's small blind versus button. Now the pre-flop aggressor is out of position and the ranges are wider in general. So let's see how this will develop. I guess he's betting always. GG. Yeah. He's betting always, and I guess he will also proceed with extreme caution and down raise very much. Yeah. So yeah, that's expected. Yeah, now let's do the king high board. Oh, also a lot of betting and most for 50% pot. Again, we see that if the pre-flop aggressor is out of position, he wants to continuation bet more. If check to, the button should play relative passive, and if he's facing the standard continuation bet, he should, yeah, raise not often, and yeah, in general continue with a fold or a call most of the time. Now it's time for the queen high board. Guess a continuation bet, yeah, will again be like 70%. Yeah, it is. And main size still 50%. Now there's more raising happening than before. And if check to, yeah, he's still playing relatively passive. 8 deuce is too dry. This one. Yeah, I also thought that this session was quite good. Okay, the lower the top card gets, the more often we want to use the pot size sizing, is what I recognized for the free bet pots. So on the ace and king high boards, we almost exclusively use 50%, and the lower the one big card gets, the more pot is used. Again, a ton of continuation betting, almost 80%. Yeah, but I guess the button will play back quite a bit here. Okay, 15% raises, and if check to, I guess he should bet, not that often, but yeah, a decent amount. And now the 10-5 deuce. Yeah, our range has definitely more overpairs. The 10 high board also 80% continuation bet and a lot of pot size continuation bets. I guess pot size is used to end the pot right now. Don't give him the chance to catch up. How often is these 50% size raised? 17%, and not that many folds against the 50% sizing, and against the pot sizing a lot more folds, but also a lot more re-raises. I guess this makes sense because when you got a hand you can get it in with and you want to get it in with, it makes a lot of sense to do it on this street. You don't want to a scare card to come off that might make your opponent change his mind. Yeah, and in general, especially for humans, this is more true than for the solver. If people bet pot on a board like this, it's often a good idea if you have a great hand to get it in, because people will not fold anymore. And if you have, like, for example, 10-10, that's great. And yeah, people will stack off with like ace-ace. So yeah, we got the 10 high board covered as well. And now the only position still left is blind versus blind. Let's go through this very quickly as well. Now we are in position again, and these are the positions where the most free betting is happening. And yeah, unsurprisingly, again, the same picture on an ace-high board. This will get attacked. The BB has a very strong range advantage on this one, and that's why the small blind will check all the time, and he can bet his entire range. Okay, what is the board we used here? That's the one. Not much donking, I guess. Oh, quite a bit of donking. Okay. Yeah, is this the donking range we already looked into? Yes, it is. This should not change that much. It's just a bit wider because the 3-bet is a bit wider. And yeah, main size on king high is 50%, and this time it's also the only sizing the solver wants to use. But also he's playing it cautious and not extensively continuation betting, as always in position. Yeah, a lot of donking here. So blind versus blind, things are very intense as it seems. And yeah, again, only 50% sizing. Maybe this is for blind versus blind. I think of blind versus blind. Let's see if this also remains true if we go to the jack high board, if he's not using pot size bets. Okay, a bit of donking. And again, no pot size bet. So blind versus blind. In a 3-bet pot, you should use 50% mainly. And yeah, other than the ace-high board, as pre-flop aggressor, you should do quite a bit of checking. So it's about 50-50, if I remember correctly, on each of the boards. So last board for today. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, what is this? Yeah, he checks a lot, and he will also check quite a bit, I guess. Oh no, he's checking only 38%. And yeah, pot size is again not used. Okay, yeah, thanks for watching. I wish you good luck at the tables and good luck using the tactics and things you learned today. Yeah, have to go now. Until next time, bye bye.